family and friends, welcome to Just Tanya Renee. Thank you so much for joining me. Hey, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting on? Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Right now, I upload videos every Sunday. Today is part 2 of Do You Think You May Be Dating a Narcissist? And I'm really excited about part 2 because I'm going to concentrate on what characteristics you see, or how does it look when you could potentially be dating a female narcissist. And even though those characteristics are very similar, it looks very different. And I think not enough attention is really brought to female narcissism. And if you are in the process of dating someone, if you're in that dating mode, these are some things you really need to look for, because I will tell you, any man that has dealt with being married to a narcissist, I'm sure will tell you, hey, here are the red flags, put on the brakes, turn the other way and run as fast as you can. Female and male characteristics are really somewhat similar, but again, I think they look different. Let's talk about one of those characteristics that I talked about with men last week, and that is, it is all about them. Everything centers around them. They want full control. They want the attention. And you will see that in women. You know, in a healthy relationship, there has to be balance. But if you're dating someone and it's all about her, she wants the attention, she wants the time, that may be a red flag. They will use their sexuality to draw upon that attention from men. Does she kind of dress provocatively? Do you think she thrives off of attention from other men? Is she constantly talking about her exes and seemingly wanting you to kind of be envious, or she always tends to talk about her exes? But a female narcissist needs that attention. It is about her. Therefore, she's going to dress the part to show you it's about her. She's getting attention. She is also ego driven, and she uses her sexuality to do this. Just like with male narcissism, infidelity is huge when you're dealing with a female narcissist. She needs that attention. She is going to look for it in other areas because her ego constantly needs to be fed. Her ego about her sexuality, her appearance, her beauty constantly has to be fed by other men. There's nothing wrong with having a confident woman. There's nothing wrong with having a woman. I think as women, we love to look beautiful. But if you are dating someone that goes to the extremes, and she seems to be thriving on getting attention from other men and everyone else, that is such a red flag. If everything is about her, that is a red flag. If she is completely trying to take control and wants your undivided attention all the time, man, that is a red flag. There are healthy boundaries to relationships. I wish that more men and more people would come forward when talking about female narcissism, because it is very real. So when we talk about narcissism, they're constantly really very manipulative, when it comes to really empathizing. It's almost as if, to me, sometimes they get pleasure out of seeing their victims depleted. And so what better way to make a man feel that he is nothing other than to talk about his lack of, or to talk about his manhood? From what I've heard, because I've talked to a couple of male friends that have opened up to me of dealing with someone with narcissistic characteristics. One of the commonalities from both of those people was the fact that their exes played on their manhood, cheated on them. And so a lot of men don't ever want to come forward. I mean, what man wants to come forward and say, oh, she said I wasn't, good in bed, or she said, this person was better, and that's why she had to seek, the attention of other men. I mean, you're not just going to have a lot of men come forward to say that. But here's the important thing about coming forward. We know it's a lie. Men, it's a lie. that is a way for her to devalue you, to put you down. You know, that is her way to make you feel deflated. You know, she knows that playing with your manhood, talking about it, going out here cheating, she will turn everything around. You don't satisfy her. You know, you're lacking in this area. That is what the female narcissist will do. They are just rude. They get pleasure out of downing other people. So if you're dating someone with narcissistic behavior, how does she treat the waiter? How is she treating other people? Think about the relationships that she has. Does she have those intimate relationships with her family? How is that? Does she come across, as bossy, constantly putting someone down? The aggressive mean girls that we grew up with. Well, there are really some mean women today that never grew out of that. And some may fit the characteristics of having, narcissistic behavior. And again, I think sometimes we miss diagnosing women. You don't want to confuse, an independent, strong woman with this woman that has narcissistic behavior. The difference is when they have those narcissistic traits, are they putting other people down to get where they want to go? Are they putting people down to get what they want? Think about the narcissists that we know of today. They constantly have to put people down to make themselves feel better. That's what's so key. You don't have to put anyone down when you are secure with yourself. These are characteristics to look for in men and in women when you are dating. Do not, I repeat, do not go to that next step of engagement or marriage if you see some of these red flags. There are key differences from a strong woman and a strong man, or someone that's confident versus someone that has these narcissistic traits and personalities. Because honestly, they can be looked at as being very confident. People that have narcissistic characteristics, even my ex, very strong, very charming, very outgoing in the business world. That's what attracts us to these people. But we have to pay close attention to those other red flags. And that's huge. How they treat other people and downing other people is how they will eventually treat you. It is so important to pay attention and focus on these red flags. Because if you move to that next stage, where you start dating her and say eventually you all get married or you all end up having children, now it takes it to a whole nother level, because the narcissist will not only now manipulate you and people in your circle, now there's that form of manipulation going on with the children. I really wish that more men would come forward, because I will tell you, one of the things that is so disheartening are the stories that I've heard from, some of my male friends who have either divorced or ended a relationship from a female with narcissistic characteristics, both of them having children. It is devastating just to hear all of the manipulation that goes on once that breakup happens. I think that's why more needs to be told about female narcissism, because if there are children involved, that cycle and the damage that is done to not only the man but to the children is just long lasting. And then we have to think about, in reality, usually when men take that step to break away or divorce that female, well, guess who has the children? Guess who has the children? And so think about it from a man's perspective, that he has to deal with trying to do what's best for him because she consistently devalues him. She continues to play the victim. She continues to use the children. And then this is the person that's going to get the children. So I say all of that to say I'm hoping that more men will see red flags. They will be aware of these red flags before you move to that. But if you are in a situation like that, don't sit up there and think it's still the end of the world. You still have to do things for you. And if I can give any hope to those that have divorced a female or broken up with a female that has narcissistic behavior and you have children by them, truth comes to light, and you have to hold on to that. And I know it's easier for me to probably say this because as the mother, I have my children. And so I can't imagine, on the flip side, being a man that has decided to divorce or break up with this person that has continued to devalue, manipulate him, and now you feel that you're torn away from your children. If there's any advice I can give, I can say that children are resilient, and you continue to be the best father that you can be. I absolutely hate the fact that there are some women out there that use their children, to cause this wedge, between the children and their father. I hate that. But if you continue to be a good father, if you continue to do the right thing, truth comes to light and children will see that. What I do know is that everyone deserves to be in a healthy relationship. Everyone deserves that. And I'm hoping that eventually more light will be shed on female narcissism, because it really can be a detriment to so many people, not only men, but to so many generations, because these are the people that are raising, future generations. So that's all I have for part 2. I'm really, glad that I decided to do part 2 to cover female narcissism. Again, I don't think there's enough information out there, but I do also believe there are probably more women than we think that may have narcissistic behavior, but because a lot of men don't talk about it, people aren't coming forward with that information, it kind of gets downplayed. And I think it's time for that to come to a halt. That is all I have for today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and hey, I'll see you all next Sunday.